Back in 2021, I met a Nigerian lady and we became best of friends. I'm from East Africa to be specific. In 2022, my best friend's dad through road accident. So my friend decided to go home and she left me in my country. After 2 weeks, she asked if I can come and be with her during her father's send-off. I agreed. 3 days later, I got everything I needed to leave my country to Nigeria. My friend told me that one of her cousins would take me from the airport. Ohima, guess who took me from the airport? One of the Nigerian actors. I was surprised because my friend didn't tell me who would take me. So the guy came and took me to his house because that's what my friend told me. So when we got there, he showed me one of his guest rooms for me to sleep because I was tired. When I went upstairs, this guy followed me without me knowing. He came to my room and gave me a glass of water and he left. Mind you, there was no one in the house except this guy and I. So after I took my shower, he called me downstairs for us to have dinner. So I went downstairs and we had dinner. So after the dinner, I decided to clean the kitchen because it was dirty. And also to say thanks to him for making me food. While I was doing the dishes, this guy came into the kitchen and decided to help me wipe the dishes. While talking, in less than 20 minutes, we were done. I told him that I'm going to sleep and he told me good night. I went upstairs. Ohima, this guy followed me again in my room to ask for my charger since we used the same phone. I gave him my charger and then he left. This guy left for less than 5 minutes. Mind you, I was about to take my shower, so I was only my I was shocked and I asked him to leave my room, but he refused. The guy started me from my forehead to my neck. Before I knew it, his lips was on mine. He gave me what I have never had in my life. While kissing, his mouth was pointing at me. Things went so fast, I couldn't resist. This guy had a good machine. When I say machine, I mean it. He knows how to use it very well. We did 30 minutes and this guy left. So I went to take my shower and slept. In the middle of the night, I heard a knock on my room. So I went to open it and to my surprise, it was the guy. Again, I asked him what he wanted and he told me that he wants to sleep in my room since he can't sleep alone. I said no. He went ahead and pushed the door and locked the door and came straight to the bed. I went ahead and slept next to him since he switched off all the lights. I couldn't go anywhere. This guy decided to be stubborn because he wanted again. So I decided to give him in the East African way. I did it, and before he finished, he was crying. I asked him why he was crying and he told me that he never came across the kind of sweet before around. So we had it again in the morning and repaired ourselves and left to the village. On our way, we went to the mall to have some snack. I got a call from home and spoke in Swahili. Next to me, there was a guy. When he heard me speaking Swahili, he came and said hi. To my surprise, my friend's cousin came to pull me back to the car and he asked me to stay in the car. He would buy anything that I wanted. I was pissed and I said I don't need anything. The journey began to the village and on our way, I went silent on him till we got to the village. When we reached there, my friend introduced me to her family and their friends. The guy was mad because I was sitting next to my bestie's brother. He started chatting with me on WhatsApp and asked me to move from that place to another place. I ignored him. My body is good. I have a good figure. So everybody was looking at me. So after the funeral, we went back to Lagos with the guy and his mom. When we reached his house, his mom prepared food for us to eat. And I decided to wash the dishes again. After doing the dishes, I went to sleep. Mind you, his mom has a room downstairs because she's so big that she can't use the stairs. 10 minutes later, the guy followed me to my room and started again. Before I knew it, we had it again. So in the morning, my friend came to take me to the airport. This guy didn't like it because he wanted to drop me. Now here is the problem. When I left Nigeria, 1 month later, I found out I was pregnant. I decided to keep the pregnancy and not to tell anyone. 9 months later, my triplet boys came to this world. I never told my bestie. My kids are almost 13 months now. The problem is, my kids look exactly like the guy. Now, my friend is back in East Africa and she saw my kids and told me they look like her cousin. I said no, and she laughed and told me that the truth will come out one day. Now, my bestie took a picture with my triplets and posted on her status. And the guy replied saying, those kids look like me. Ohima, do you think I'm doing the right thing for not telling him that the kids are his? Should I tell him the truth? Please, I need some advice. Should I tell him the truth or forget about him? Since I am financially stable and I can take care of my kids without any man, please, I need advice. I actually blocked him when I got back to my country. My marriage is just 2 years old. I work as an accountant in a secondary school. 2 months after we got married, my husband collected my ATM card. My salary is 110,000 naira. Whenever my salary comes, my husband withdraws the whole salary, takes 70k and gives me the rest. He will still insist I use the money to buy things for the house and also for transportation to work. After 3 months, I asked him what he does with the money. He would tell me he adds it to his business, tailoring materials. I complained to my mom and she told me not to worry because he is my husband. Some months later, I told him I needed to change my wardrobe and get some new shoes for work. So I'll need all the money for that month. He called the woman that I should manage the ones I have. When I refused, he with his belt. I told my employer everything. Then she told me to open another account, that my salary will be divided into two, 55k in my old account and 20k in my new account. She said I should tell my husband that the school is downsizing and they are retaining me with the condition that my salary will be reduced to 50k. When I told him, he didn't even bother. When my next salary came, he collected 40k and gave me 10k. I was angry and asked him how does he expect me to go to work. Then I also questioned him what he used the money for. He gave me badly and cleared my stomach. I miscarried the baby I was carrying. After I was discharged, he told me that if I ever question his authority again, he would disfigure me. This is someone I dated for a year and 7 months with no form of violence. Though our church does not support visiting our intended husband alone, so I didn't have the opportunity to study him the way I should. My mother had an accident and I wanted to send her money. I told my husband that I would need 15,000 when my salary is paid. He told me that I won't give my mother anything because his mom needs a deep freezer for her fish business. I just didn't say anything. I sent some of the money that I have been saving in my other account to my mother. A week later, his mom had an accident in Ekeke when she went to buy fish. He told me to take a loan from my office so he can add the one that he has to treat his mom. I told him to use the one that he has been saving from my salary and I won't do what he asked me. And he should remember what he told me when my mom had an accident. Then 2 months later, he returned my ATM card because my salary was no longer coming. I told him to hold on to it, that I won't take it again. He went in to bring his belt to me. I used the curtain pipe on the floor of the sitting room to hit his neck. He told everyone I wanted to kill him. His people told me to apologize. I said over my On that day, I got a car, packed my belongings and left. I told the woman I worked for as a nanny in her house after my secondary school about everything. She sent me 450,000 to get an apartment, which I have done and moved in. My pastor said we should resolve the matter. For the first time in my life, I invited my pastor and told him it shall not be well with him. I have apologized to my pastor, but I won't go back to the husband. Now, my mom says if I don't go back to my husband, that it will break her heart. And she would, because my mom is diabetic and hypertensive. My father is late. How should I convince my mom to understand that I can't go back? Please, I need your advice.
England with me. She was far away because she was in economy. But when we landed in London, and I said, okay, so Charity, did you eat? She said no. So all the food, all the drink and everything they gave her, she refused. Do you know why? She thought she had to pay for it. Real story.
Thank you for watching and follow for more interesting stories.